Hello my dear friends, Josie here, bringing you daily messages from the universe. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, I wanted to share with you 5 signs of spiritual awakening. I personally went through every single sign. And the process is real, and now more and more people are awakening. And the whole purpose of this life experience, in my belief, is for us to wake up, to see who we really are, to awaken to higher states of consciousness, to see the spirit within us, and to live from that spirit space, and see the spirit in other people as well. So let me share with you 5 signs of spiritual awakening that you may see in yourself. Okay, so the first sign of spiritual awakening is when you realize that fear is not your natural state of being. It's a conditional state of being, but your true state of being is love. So there are always 2 choices. There's choice of fear and choice of love. So when you begin to awaken spiritually, you choose love more often. Spontaneously, naturally, you want to choose love. You may still experience fear, and sometimes the fear is real and strong. But you have this awareness to make a conscious choice towards love. Whether it's people around you, situations, stressors, maybe violence that you see on television. There's so many different events that are happening and triggering you, but something has changed. And you look at the world differently. You're not being possessed by your fears. You're not being brought down by your fears. You are you're transitioning these fears into love. So the second sign of spiritual awakening is that you really understand this, that suffering is optional. You don't have to suffer. Pain is inevitable. Pain happens to all human beings. It's part of our life existence. So you can choose in any situation not to suffer. This is a conscious choice. I may be in pain, but I will not inflict suffering on myself. I will stay as balanced, centered, and uplifted as I can. And this is how I will go through my life. I will always make choice towards love. I will not suffer unnecessarily. So pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So the third way of spiritual awakening is when you move from your head and into your heart. That's when all of your mental judgments and observations turn into the feeling of compassion and unity. When you see other people, you see them in pain. You know, every time I get nasty or negative comment, I see it as a cry for help. So I used to get so upset and angry, but now I see things differently. I see people differently. It's like I see through the veil and I see their suffering. And that compassion that radiates from your heart, this is your way in the world. You treat yourself with compassion. And you also treat others with compassion. You make more compassionate choices. You make more loving choices. You know that compassion serves the wellness of all. That empathy, that human connection, that's why we come here. We don't come here to judge. We don't come here to fight each other. We're here to live in cooperation, collaboration. We're here to support each other, create meaningful relationships. So you live from that heart more and more every day, and this is a sign of spiritual awakening. Okay, so the 4th sign of spiritual awakening is when you understand that death, physical death, is not the end of your life. And this is huge. When you realize it, if you go into that place of transcendence and quietness, when you understand who you really are, when you feel yourself as a being, timeless being, that's who you really are. The whole idea of death doesn't even exist. You never really die. Everything changes. Everything moves. This entire world changes all the time, and nothing here is permanent by definition. One day, even the sun will cease to shine. So your body is just a temporary experience of your consciousness. And death is release and birth into a different reality. Where you feel blissful, you feel content, you feel whole in that state of transcendence. And I have been there. And I stay as long as I can. When I do my meditations, I experience that state, transcendence, the state of being. And that's why I'm so passionate about spirituality and teaching you guys what I teach, is because I live from that space of being. I see things that way. So the more I practice, the more I live, the more of that spiritual awakening happening to me. And finally, number 5, you understand that you are whole. You are complete. And you also understand that other people are the same way. You begin to see that divine spirit in other people, because the separation it's an illusion. It's a temporary state. It's a temporary illusion that we experience. But when you transcend, when you have the spiritual awakening, you cannot help but recognize that spirit, the same wholeness in somebody else. So when somebody says, namaste, be well, love and light, I never really understood the meaning of that word, even though I've been doing yoga for many years. I never really got it. But with that spiritual awakening, the way you see other people is different. So it doesn't matter who you are in this lifetime, what kind of personality you have, what kind of dress you're wearing. The divine essence in me always recognizes the divine essence in you, because we are one. If we break down all the false facade, bodies and limitations, if that whole thing disappears and returns to the earth, it's just one spirit. And you see that connection with other people when you transcend, when you have this moment of spiritual awakening. So here you go, my friends. I hope this information inspired you, and I hope that you're going through the moments of your own spiritual transformation and awakening. Thank you so much for watching. Be well and blessed, and I'll chat with you in the next video.